So I braved the unbearable Texas heat to go see an early screening of Ready or Not. So let's talk about it. Ready or Not is a horror comedy starring Samara Weaving. She plays Grace, a woman just recently married into a very rich family, and they have a little quirk. Every time someone new enters the family, they have to play a board game. It's a game of chance. It's a blank card put in a deck. Whatever you pull, that's the game you have to play. However, she picks the wrong card, and now the family is hunting her down, trying to kill her before sunrise. I don't really know if this is a hot take, but I really like Samara Weaving from the stuff that I've seen her in. Like Heather, a lost camper in Ash vs. the Evil Dead, Melanie Cross in Mayhem, and lastly is Bee in The Babysitter, which is highly underrated. I was also super stoked to find out that she's going to be playing Bill S. Preston's daughter in the new Bill and Ted movie, Bill and Ted Face the Music. Excellent! I didn't even hear about the film until the very first trailer dropped, and when I watched it, I was immediately hooked. What especially got me was the fact that Adam Brody was in it. I fucking love him. So let's get into whether or not Ready or Not is worth your time and your money. Ready or Not is absolutely worth watching. It's not without its faults. We'll get into like really my one main criticism in a minute, but honestly, the cast was great. Adam Brody as the alcoholic brother, perfect. His comedic timing and everything was just perfect. I think his name is Henry Czerny. Henry Czerny, the overbearing patriarch of the family, was great. And like I said, Samara Weaving, I like her in the stuff that she's in. I think she picks really good roles that play to her strengths. But honestly, with as good as I thought the trailer was, I was kind of worried. Because usually when a trailer looks really good, the movie ends up being garbage. But honestly, it really wasn't the case with Ready or Not. Usually in movies, the first act is really slow. Because it's usually the time that's spent like setting everything up. But usually that's the time when everything is super boring. This wasn't a problem for Ready or Not. Because the second the movie started, you were right in it. They immediately within that first like 5 minutes set up the world of what was happening. I really don't feel any part of the movie wasn't utilizing downtime. You can't just have it be action, 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 scares, scares, scares. You got to have the downtime to build up everything else. What I feel Ready or Not did well was they built up the tension because Grace isn't a superhero. She's just a girl. Thought she was celebrating like the happiest day of her life, and now she's being hunted. So every time things seemed to be slowing down, it was immediately followed by like action horror scares. A big problem I have is when people get hurt and they just power through it, and that is not at all the case in this movie. When people get hurt, they get hurt. Like honestly, people in this, they take a beating. They eventually get up, but that doesn't mean that they don't take that beating. The script was tightly written. There was never a point during the film when I didn't know what was going on and I couldn't follow what was going on. Everything, understand what the family was trying to do, like their end goal, and what Samara was trying to do. Like everything seemed to make sense. That basically what I'm trying to get at is everything in that world seemed to make sense, and that honestly is really good script writing. Comedy was perfectly placed, and I think that was due in large part to Adam Brody and Melanie Scrofano. They played brother and sisters Daniel and Emily DeLomas. Whether they were doing a scene solo or they were part of, or the rest of the cast was around, their comedic timing was perfect. In those things, they completely stole the show, especially Adam Brody. A lot of the decisions that she was making throughout the film for her survival kind of felt true, like true to real world, that if this was happening to you, these are kind of the same decisions that you would, end up making, which makes everything feel real, I guess. The effects in the movie were pretty good. They seemed the majority of them were practical. Obviously, like giant blood spurts and everything are going to be CG and stuff. They probably did some practical, but for the volume of certain things, it's like I'm sure it was that. But honestly, the only thing I took issue with like the entire movie was the ending. It was a perfectly fine ending. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, the movie is good. You should go see this movie. But I called the ending at the beginning of the movie just because as a screenwriter I can kind of see how it's going. On the drive home, talking to my wife, we were discussing other ways that the ending might have hit harder that like we wouldn't have expected, because she kind of saw that ending coming too. And we feel like we came up with a pretty good ending. But again, the ending was good, the movie was good, everything was great. Go see the movie. So I give Ready or Not a B. It could have been an A had they changed the ending a little bit more to like what my wife and I were thinking it should have been to better fit everything. But still, we had a blast at the movie. And really, that's what you need when you go to see a movie. You want to have fun, and that's what Ready or Not did. We had fun.